All of the trademark aspects of the series make a return with Shenmue 3, such as an incredibly detailed world filled to the brim with detail and character, fully interactive NPCs and dialogue options, along with an intricate focus upon martial arts and the culture surrounding it, which has always been a huge part of the experience. Picking up where the previous adventure left off, it follows a young man known as Yu Suzuki on his quest to ultimately gain revenge upon the person who murdered his father. The climax of the previous entry in the series saw Ryo travelling to Guilin, a remote location in the Chinese countryside where players will finally get answers to some lingering questions on certain aspects of the narrative, which is sure to satisfy longtime fans. The gameplay focuses mainly upon exploration and interacting with the many NPCs that occupy the diverse set of environments in order to advance the story and discover the many distinct aspects that comprise the experience as a whole. The series was always well known for its dense amount of activities and ability to essentially live the life of Ryo from day to day. This aspect is prevalent throughout the adventure, allowing the player to put the story to one side and pursue many of the both traditional and newly introduced side ventures that add something fresh but at the same time familiar and fitting for the Shenmue series. Toy capsules, fishing, shopping, arcade games, lucky hit, and even turtle racing. There is a serious amount of variety within the activities which the player can undertake. It only adds to the overall quality and value of the experience. When compared to the originals, it has now never been easier to navigate the world in Shenmue 3 due to a modern control scheme which is a welcome addition to the experience and makes exploring all the more enjoyable and natural. It also translates well to nearly every aspect of the game, such as the fighting system. Shenmue 3 puts this aspect front and center. Training makes a return to the series, but in a much more engaging way. The player must fight their way through several ranks of the local dojo in order to increase their martial arts skills, which makes training all the more meaningful and rewarding. The fighting system also differs from the original games. It feels a lot more frantic and involved, with specific special moves being assigned to particular inputs during battle, with the possibility to upgrade them during sparring sessions by quickly inputting the correct button prompts at the correct time, which naturally further increases their effectiveness. But tying all this together is a new leveling system known as Kung Fu levels. Through training and fighting, the level will increase depending on your performance and will therefore make battling all the more easier depending on how much time you actually put into it. A new feature to the series is the inclusion of difficulty modes. There are several to choose from, ranging from easy all the way up to a mode titled Nightmare, which in all honesty will test even the most proficient of players. It's a very welcome addition, with the plus of being able to switch the difficulty on the fly if the adventure is either too easy or too hard for the player, opening up the Shenmue experience to users of all skill levels. Playing into this is the new food system as well, which definitely makes the experience more difficult, as nearly every day-to-day action consumes stamina, which needs to be replenished using food. It's a neat little juggling act that adds a welcome touch of realism to the wealth of systems that are already in place. One of these systems will be instantly familiar to fans of the series, and that is the economy system. As with previous entries, collectibles can be sourced throughout the journey and then sold for currency to spend on in-game items such as food and new fighting skills. The amount of collectibles has been expanded with not only toy capsules allowing you to acquire extra funds, but also a new addition in the form of herbs that are scattered around the environment which can be harvested and sold to produce medicine. This aspect promotes the exploration of each area you visit and really helps bring the clear passion and detail that has gone into each of them to the forefront. On top of this, part-time jobs make a return as well, taking the form of chopping wood for the local shopkeeper, and whilst it's not the most efficient way to earn currency, it has to be the most engaging and rewarding way in which to do so. Taking full advantage of the Unreal 4 engine, Shenmue 3 manages to portray a wide range of lush and intoxicating environments, and as you would expect with the increased power of the PlayStation 4 behind them, each area is worlds apart from anything that appeared in the originals. Buildings, foliage, dynamic weather effects, and character models all have taken the leap into the modern era, but at the same time have managed to retain that specific Shenmue style many fans will be accustomed to. It really does feel like an honest progression of what came before. Unfortunately though, not everything is perfect. Throughout the duration of gameplay, you'll notice various frame drops, frequent instances of pop-in, and even some slight screen tear during intensive scenes. But thankfully, it's not that big of a problem as to where it would pull you out of the experience, more of just a slight annoyance that will surely be ironed out in the future with an update. As many Shenmue fans will already know, the series has had a long history of providing some of the most memorable and lovingly crafted music ever presented in a game. The third iteration is no exception. The background music is in line with what has come before and provides a familiar feeling for those who have followed Ryo since the beginning. It all feels very authentic and goes a long way in immersing the player into the world, with the use of various Chinese instruments as well as environmental sounds such as rushing water, tweeting birds and animals that help elevate the overall believability and quality of the world. Now, I couldn't talk about audio without mentioning the voice work. Players will be happy to know some of the original voice actors have returned for both the English and Japanese voice work, and it still feels very archaic in its execution, especially in English, but the series has been well known for this since the beginning. It's not anything that is going to turn away longtime fans, but newcomers might find it a bit distracting. It's incredible to actually be able to play Shenmue 3 after all of this time. It really does feel like an honest continuation of the journey, and to be fair, that's all fans ever wanted and needed. For those possibly trying out the series for the first time though, certain aspects of the third entry might put you off due to the uniqueness of the experience and somewhat old-fashioned approach to certain features that are included. Is it actually worth buying? In my opinion, it offers up a competent, thought-provoking adventure that presents an incredible amount of variety within its gameplay, and for this reason alone, I highly recommend it to players who are looking to get stuck into something they can lose themselves in for hours. With the wealth of content Shenmue 3 presents, it is the absolute perfect choice.